Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The campaign is Spawn of Azathoth. It was written by Doc Herbert, and our game master is John Hook. This is episode 28. Our recap will be given by Holly Butow as her character, Edith Thomas. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Holly?
Thanks, Tom. Our journey to the Plateau of Lang has been arduous. It's been close quarters every night as we shelter against the wind and cold. Every day is a struggle in these extreme conditions, and I worry about Cornelius and his advanced age. I think I prefer the jungles of the Andaman Islands over this. Our guide, La Zhang, revealed himself to be a follower of Azathoth and attempted to thwart our mission with a group of Chinese soldiers. That Migo gun is horrifyingly powerful, and Cornelius' spell is equally disturbing. Zeno's quick thinking saved us in the end when he caused an avalanche. We nearly lost Arlo in the fight. Those appendages of his proved themselves useful. I believe they're the only reason he's still with us. I'm not sure how to feel about that. But he's shown no ill will toward me, and the loss of a companion would still be a loss. We were very fortunate that there was a Buddhist monastery not far, as we lost all our supplies in the fight. I don't think we would have made it through the night otherwise. The monks there showed us hospitality and kindness and didn't flinch at Arlo's condition. We were able to get some much-needed rest. They provided us with new supplies and directed us toward Lang. There is some creature out here with us, something like the Sasquatch that Sylvia was caring for in Montana, but they are very obviously carnivorous, so we gave them a wide berth. I'm glad that Dr. Baxter's scrying glass allowed us to learn of that before we went to investigate their den. For better or worse, I think our journey is nearing an end. There's a temple off in the distance. I hope we see this through and stop whatever Nemesis truly is. I had dreams of traveling the world, but now I think I've had my fill. If I make it back home in one piece, I don't think I'll be leaving again anytime soon.
Thank you, Edith. All right. So as you guys have been traveling, ahead of you, you see a mountain range that looks, the mountains look even more jagged and sharp than the previous version of the Himalayas that you've come through. And these gray and white snow-capped mountains, with these jagged, sharp peaks, and they seem to, there's something odd about them because they don't seem to geologically follow the norms of what you would expect. The angles of the peaks are coming at different angles, and some are straight vertical. And with the white and gray that covers them, it really looks like a set of razor sharp teeth in the background. And right before, at the foot of these mountains, you can see something that you assume is the temple that you've been seeking. As you're walking towards it, you see there is a set of columns, rough-hewn, roughly rectangular shaped columns set in a certain formation, and kind of behind those, almost as if they are like the entryway, you see a set of stairs that are carved into the rock that just rise up into the mountains. I assume everyone is approaching.
Unpleasantly reminds me of the Dreamlands.
Are you saying that the stairs go just up into the mountains, or they go into a cave?
You see them carved into the face of the mountain, and so it's rising up along the face of the mountain, and it goes up, and you can't see where it goes to.
Okay. So what we thought was a temple are these big rocks that you're talking about.
It looks like it's some kind of maybe temple entrance, but you don't see a building per se.
I see.
Like like the hospitality that you had a few days ago.
And I'm guessing there's no other way to approach upwards but via these stairs.
The rest of the rock face looks pretty treacherous if you wanted to free climb it.
Yeah, I'm in no condition to do that. I will begrudgingly start up the stairs.
We need to be very careful because isn't there a cult involved here?
Yeah, we expect somebody to be welcoming Nemesis.
What was already a
bad guy. Yeah. Is there anything written on the columns? Are there sculptures?
Very good. Yes, there is relief carved into the sculptures, or into the columns. They are not sculptures. They are rough-hewn columns. Think Stonehenge, but without the plinths. And they're basically set in a V formation. And so as you kind of walking through and among them, the stairwell is behind, because you're approaching from the tip of the V, and then going into it. And yeah, there's some strange glyphs and things like that carved into them. Anybody who has Cthulhu Mythos may attempt to roll that and see if you recognize any of these glyphs.
I have a little.
I have quite a lot now.
if I spend 59 points of luck.
11 out of 18. Bingo.
I got a 15 out of 43. So
7 out of 43.
I've got a hard. Oh, wow. You've got a extreme. Right?
Yeah.
I
think so.
This nasty weather has clarified our minds of everything sane.
It really, really has. So as you're walking among these columns and the glyphs that you see, those who were successful recognize the glyphs as belonging to, or characters that belong to he who must not be named, and that this could be it's declaring that this is a place of worship for he who must not be named.
I'm not surprised those monks didn't have any dynamite on them, but it's kind of a pity. I mean, on our way out.
Related to those of you who actually recognize these sculptures, is it associated with Azathoth or
no, another
Nemesis? Is it something
deity
else?
It's very dark, very referred to as he who must not be named, because you don't want to even think the name.
How many of these entities are there?
I don't know.
Do I even want to know?
You know what pantheons are like. They sprawl sometimes. I wonder then if, since Lazeng follows Azathoth, that the Nemesis isn't here to destroy this temple in some cosmic battle in which we play the tiniest part.
What if we're in the wrong place?
If there's more than one temple of this kind on the plateau of Lang.
Just saying, we traveled 300 miles. We could have gotten off. But it looks like the only place to go is up.
Yeah, we're here.
The bas-reliefs are mostly just writing about he who must not be named and maybe words of praise. There's no asteroid sigil or tentacled fellow or anything like that. It's sort of the name of the temple in a sense.
Correct.
As we're approaching and entering this V formation, how do the yaks behave?
Excellent question. The yaks are uncomfortable. They're making more noise and kind of resisting guidance more so than you've encountered even in the blizzard.
Should we tie them up?
We should stake them out here, yes, and give them some fresh fodder. Maybe we should stake them lightly too. If we don't come back, they could wander off and find their way home. I wouldn't want to trap them here to starve.
Monks
might get eaten by whatever was following us. I'm sorry. Whatever was following us or whatever we encountered back there might try to eat them.
Oh yeah, we don't want the local giant folk to find them and eat them. Whether or not we come back, that would be disastrous for us. Yeah, let's find a hillock or something where we stake them to light tethers out of the way.
Are the steps gentle or steep?
They are quite steep.
Yeah.
I think the animals are intelligent and we don't want to drive them mad taking them into this place.
Agreed.
The snow, how bad's the weather today?
It's very cold, but there's no fresh snow falling. So it's just icy. And those stone steps look to be treacherous.
Are there any marks in the snow that precede us?
Give me a spot hidden.
I'll spend 3 points to make that.
Okay. You check very carefully and you feel confident that there's been no activity recently in this area.
Is there any kind of tree growing around or anywhere where you might find a stick or something to help us, so that we can snowy steps going up, we can at least keep from falling over?
Yeah, there's a few trees that are in a dormant state right now that you can, hack at and make some walking sticks if you'd like.
I would be surprised actually if we didn't already have some of that done in the travel here, because we know they were dead or dormant trees that we passed. Well, and the snow was steep.
Walking in the snow, we might have had sticks.
Yeah, sure. I could see that. I could buy that. Okay. So sure.
Well, shall we?
Yes. I'm still recovering, but I have one of the alien weapons as well as the rifle. But perhaps Cuthbert and I should be in the center of the lineup in case we have difficulty. Arlo, you're mostly better, yes?
Yes, I'm mostly better.
Best health.
Arlo, actually, once you've gotten within the interior of the V formation of those stones that are here, once you actually kind of cross that invisible threshold and get within this V formation, go ahead and gain one more hit point.
Okay. Yeah, I feel a little bit better now.
I
more so now.
More so now.
I don't know. I don't know. I felt like I just felt something crossing into this. I can't describe it.
Saladin's muttering again. Keeper, I know we've been hiking and sleeping pretty rough, so I guess I haven't. My arm injury hasn't improved in our travels.
No, it has not.
Yeah, I can't even get hit by a softball at this point. Just so you all know.
Yeah, I am at full health. out of game. So Dr. Long's feeling pretty well despite all the travel. So I'll go up first. I'll lead the way.
I'll go with you. I'm in fairly good health.
I'm okay, but I can't be doing any marathon sprinting up these here. As long as we keep a nice steady pace, I can keep up.
We'll go ahead.
Cornelius. I'll go. I feel fine.
And this, and while we've kind of really, shorthanded some of the travel, this has been days and days and days of travel. I actually do want to amend something for you, Dr. Baxter. You can have 2 hit points.
Thanks.
If the 3 of us go up ahead a little bit, then if there's an ambush or a trap or something, we'll get there first. They can follow behind.
Right. In addition to these steps being rather steep, they're also pretty wide, aren't they? As if made for a different stride.
Right.
The steps are wide, but also each step has got a shallow step to it. It's almost like you're just going to be walking on your toes, the balls of your feet as you're heading up these very almost ladder rungish, but at a bit of a pitch.
I think the early Mexicans on their pyramids were rather steep, and you walk sideways with your feet, so your foot's completely on up. It's better than doing that thing like you just said on your tiptoes.
Sure.
You're going to get really tired really fast.
I'm just tired looking at it.
Yep. We don't even know what's at the top. Probably more stairs.
Long, it's not snowing today. Can you see anything in the sky? Or is there any indication? The time must be close.
Yeah, in fact, Dr. Long, give me an astronomy roll, please.
58 is a regular success.
So, Dr. Long, as you look up into the sky, and of course, there's a deep gray overcast, but you can see there's an area that looks more illuminated, and it's not from the position of the sun, and the coloring is off. It seems to have a red, but also like a green kind of halo, and it's getting larger. It seems to be bigger.
Yeah, it's certainly coming. You can see it. Blue light scatters more in the atmosphere, so it's not surprising that the whole sky hasn't gone red. But it's close. It's dreadfully close, astronomically speaking.
Well, that suggests that at least if we fail, we'll suffer less than most.
Sooner than most definitely. All right, so let's go.
Okay. As you ascend, who has the lowest luck in the entire group? That will determine your party luck.
I have 43.
39.
57.
Oh, I have 43.
I have 38 because I obviously spent all that luck last session.
I think we have a winner. Anybody else?
That's yeah. He's got me by early.
Arlo, if you would please do the honors and give us a party luck roll.
24.
You are lucky. Okay, good. So as you guys ascend, you can see some of the steps are kind of crumbled at the edges. You can see that rocks have fallen in days gone by in the far past, but rocks have fallen and have come to perch in different areas of the steps as you're going up, and so it as it keeps going up. Once you get above a certain altitude, the pitch changes and it becomes easier to walk because it's almost like it's leveling out more. and a few rocks do fall while you are walking on the steps, but they fall after you've passed by certain areas, so they're like tumbling onto the steps behind you. Eventually, you get to a point where the steps level out to such a degree that it naturally transitions into a path, into a cobblestone path. And you're just seeing these, you're walking amongst the giants of these mountains that are just, jagged up on either side of you. And even at your level where you do see juts of granite, it's just these sharp spikes of stone. You follow the path, and eventually it opens up, and you see a small box of a building. But this building has, it has a flat roof, rectangular sides, and it has clearly seen better days in the past, as boulders have fallen from above and have smashed on, and so the corners of this boxy building are softened and crumbled away, and some of the edges of the building are vertically scratched from boulders that have fallen on it, and you can see a couple of boulders that have piled up on top of the flat roof, and facing you is an arched doorway, and you can see now inside that box of a building. It looks like a concrete square box ish. You can see there's light inside there, flickering yellow light.
How big is this building?
The building, you're just kind of guesstimating, but it's probably about maybe 40 feet wide, and the sides are so close to the edges of the mountains in here, you couldn't really skinny in between. I mean, it would take a climb roll to get in there. So you're not sure how deep of the building is, but it's 40 feet wide, and it's about 25 feet tall. And
the pathway's been cobblestoned, which is already archaeologically absurd.
Cobblestoned, it's chunks of the natural rock that have been cut and hewn and made into a pathway.
Okay. But this thing looks somehow like concrete, not like stone or brick.
It is stone. I just said concrete because it has a real stony but flat, worked, tooled surfacing to it.
Maybe a little bit like a less ornate version of it's the carved palace, and
except instead of it being a part of the mountainside, it is a standalone building, almost as if there was a hole amongst these jagged peaks with a flat ground, and someone built a square box building perfectly in this hole.
And not very ornate, simple.
No ornamentation.
So it's like an entrance shelter, basically.
Yeah.
And the arch is like a keystone arch?
There's no keystones. It's just almost as if someone went in there with a hacksaw and just got like a cartoon hacksaw, and kind of cut out an arch.
So this does not look architecturally normal.
Not at all.
But it does look old.
It does look old. Yeah, looks pretty ancient.
And the light source, does it look like a tungsten bulb or torches or
it looks like an open flame. You can actually see the open flame inside. It's on the floor. There's some sort of small, campfire or something inside there.
No motion otherwise?
None that you can see.
And we can't see the smoke escaping?
There were two people talking, so I missed that.
Tom?
Go ahead. I just said somebody lit the fire.
Somebody lit a fire, yeah.
Or it's an eternal flame. Is there smoke coming out of the top or the archway?
No smoke, no.
Maybe it's bigger on the inside than it is out here. If we scan the cliff face, is there smoke?
No smoke.
Yeah, maybe it isn't a natural flame. We saw those the Dreamlands are different. Or our old pale foe with the bone knife is in there.
Well,
And
let's
he's
find
been
out.
waiting. Right.
Kill
And
anything that moves.
Yeah, I've got my 1911 out here.
Me go gun is ready to go.
ditto.
I've been thinking a lot about this albino, and other than I'm trying to recall what he said to Zeb all that time ago in the Dreamlands. Didn't he tell Zeno? Didn't he tell Zeb that we had to stop Nemesis?
That you couldn't stop it.
Oh, that we couldn't. Okay. So never mind. He is a foe.
Yes, I think you threatened him with a bone-handled knife, from what I recall.
That detail
Right.
I do vividly remember.
Aren't we looking for the ghost of Ebon?
Ibon?
Wasn't that part of the whole thing? Isn't it Ibon that was trying to destroy the world?
Well, it is. This is foretold in his text, and he is.
Is he the albino? I don't know.
I hadn't considered it. The text is considered ancient, and I guess presumed European. But that fellow could travel anywhere. He's got pass keys to the library in the dream world, for one thing.
And and actually, the albino was like an American Indian, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He has that appearance, but that may be, who knows?
Yeah. Phenotype varies.
All right. So there's a couple of things there that have to come together. Let's. I've got my Lee Enfield up there.
How wide is the archway?
Enough for one person to pass through at a time.
Perfect.
Well, I will go first.
Let's go on the sides of it, not so that there's somebody inside they can't see us coming.
Should we toss a snowball in
Good idea.
just to see?
No, that's just going to let anybody in there know that we're here.
Do you think we're surprising anybody?
I don't know. This is a very strange place.
Yeah.
Despite, I mean,
Thought it was worth anything. I could try to move ahead, quietly, see if there was anything to see. But if we feel like that's too dangerous, then maybe we just go all in.
Yeah.
I just hate to send the first person into that.
Somebody's got to be the first
Well,
person.
Let's go up to the door on the sides of it and then peek inside.
Excellent. I'll go to the right of the door.
I'll go to the left.
And you two, since you're closest to the door, peek in.
Yeah.
Okay. As the two of you peek around the archway wall and look inside this boxed building, you see probably 20 feet away from you, 20 feet away from the door, in what you're assuming is the center of this room, this box. In the center, you see a small campfire, very small, and you can make out there's someone sitting on the floor beyond the fire. So, so you're having a hard time saying, you can tell it's somebody in robes, and they're seated with their back towards you.
So their back to the fire?
Their back is to the fire.
So we can't see if they're albino.
You can't see anything about it because the hooded robe is up over the head. And so there's somebody in there, an adult,
somebody's in there
sitting, cross-legged on the floor.
All right, let's go in quietly.
All right, everyone enters, or just the two of you? Everyone?
Where does he want in?
I will enter.
Okay. So as you're kind of filing in, this campfire is really only illuminating just the center portion of this room. And you can see the campfire. It's set in a very small, probably maybe 10-inch diameter circle, carved into the floor. And so there's, the fire kind of coming out of that. And you can see there's, kindling of wood or charcoal or something. And it's just a very small yellow fire. The figure who's sitting on the floor, the robes are a very pale yellow. And as you guys are starting to come in, sorry, I also meant to describe on the floor itself, because the floor itself is a slab, a flat slab. And on the floor itself, around the fire is, etched onto into the slab is a hexagon. It's the shape of a hexagon. And each, right at each face of the hexagon is a glyph that's carved into it. And so this person was sitting outside of the hexagon, furthest away from you guys, furthest away from the door, back to the fire. But as you guys start to come in the corners of the room are just complete inky darkness. I mean, there's nothing that can be seen at all. It's just, deep black shade of night. As you guys are starting to file into the room, the figure stands up.
Right.
And turns around slowly. And so you can see the large hood is draping down, shading the face. I mean, you can only just barely see the chin. And in the hands, and the long sleeves are covering up most of the hands. You could just barely see the fingertips, but the hands are holding a bowl. And in that bowl, you see a very simple knife is resting in the bowl. And so he stands and he turns around, he makes an about face, and he's just standing there holding this bowl.
Who are you?
Okay. He begins to step forward and he gets closer to the fire.
What do the fingers look like?
What you can see, his flesh of his fingers and of his lower portion of his mouth, his flesh is almost like a reddish brown, and it looks very very chiseled. It doesn't look like there's a lot of cushion and fat on these fingers, and the chin looks very thin, gaunt and goatish, and you can see rough black and gray whiskers, but it's not a full beard. It's just, it looks very whiskered on the chin. So he slowly approaches the fire with both hands on the bowl. And then Dr. Saladin says, "Who are you?" And then he kind of transfers the bowl so that it's being cradled only in his left hand, in his left arm. And then his right hand extends, and he, with a full hand, not a finger, but with a full hand, he kind of gestures towards Saladin. And then he moves his hand and points at one of the 6 faces of the hexagon.
What do the sigils look like on this hexagon?
You can give me, well, actually, you don't need to. Anybody who was successful outside looking at those columns, you see similar icons in here as well. So this is some kind of a temple that is dedicated for Hastur.
You said it.
Oh, damn it.
We win.
And the knife, is it also marked with sigils and glyphs, or is it?
It is not ornate, but it is a knife, but it's not ornate.
What is its handle made out of?
It is not a bone-handled knife. It is a It just looks like it's petrified wood. I mean, it looks just like an old knife.
I'm going to look what he's pointing at. Oh,
so
I think he wants us to stand.
He gestured to Saladin, and then gestured to one of the faces of the hexagon.
Yes, Long, I think you're right.
I'll go walk up and take a spot, not the one that he gestured for Zeno, but
all right,
a different spot.
I'll walk to the place where he indicates.
He gestures to Edith and moves and gestures to a spot next to Saladin. And Edith is muted, by the way.
She's not.
I am.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, yeah, I'll stand. I'm sorry. I'll stand where he is gesturing.
Okay. He gestures to Augustine and gestures to a spot next to Edith.
Yes, I walk over.
He gestures to Long to move and go to stand next to Augustine.
All right.
He gestures to Baxter to take a position.
I accept.
And then he gestures to Cornelius to take the final position.
Do we have, is there any power left in our torches or in our flashlight, or are they drained?
What do you want to do?
I want to just, before I step in here and trigger whatever this is going to trigger, I want to flash the light into the extreme darkness that's surrounding us.
Okay. You click your flashlight and you can see that the bulb, the head of your flashlight, it begins to illuminate, and then it almost as if it's something is resisting it. It kind of flickers, and then it dies down. And as you look at your flashlight, you can see the bulb has just the barest, dullest yellow glow, but it's just being held back. There's something not allowing it to illuminate.
I will just turn it off, pocket it, and reluctantly step on that last sigil.
Okay. Once everyone is in place, the hooded figure walks to Dr. Saladin, standing before you, and he holds the bowl out for you
to take.
You take the bowl.
Yeah.
With his hands free now, he reaches up and grabs the edges of his cowl, and he folds the hood back, and you can see again that reddy brown face, and it's very gaunt, very chiseled, almost like stone. It has a very goatish look to it. A wide nose, and he has a stubble of a beard and mustache, and you can almost see the presence of like a cleft palate, almost like an animal's muzzle, right? He's got very short dark hair, but it's receding in a widow's peak, and as he looks at you, you just see white orbs. All right, he's completely blind.
Oh,
all right. So then he takes the bowl after he's removed his hood. He takes the bowl, and then he's holding it in his right hand, and with his left hand he grabs your right hand by the wrist, and he pulls your right hand down, and he places the bowl into that right hand only.
Okay.
He then reaches in and takes the knife, and he holds your other hand palm up, and he brings the knife to your palm.
No. What are you going to do? Going to cut me?
He reaches for your open hand and brings your open hand up, palm up, and brings the knife to the palm.
Better palm than wrist. Saladin.
Yeah, well, how deep's he going to cut?
And he cuts your hand, lose 1 hit point, and tell me Dr. Saladin, how many magic points do you give me?
Well, I've got 14. I'll give you 7.
7. Okay. When he's cut your hand, he holds your hand while you're still holding the bowl. He pulls the knife off to the side, and he holds your hand, and he's kind of like squeezing your palm, and he's got like an iron grip, and blood is flowing out of your palm into the bowl, and then he forces your fingers closed so that you make a fist and hold that wound closed. And then with that done, he takes the bowl from you, and he gestures for you to sit.
All right. I'll sit.
My friends, we have entered the ceremony.
He moves to Miss Thomas.
And we know that this god is opposed to the god that is sending the nemesis here. And so, and we have not been attacked directly. So.
Just wish we knew what we were agreeing to.
Miss Thomas, he gestures for your right hand. He places the bowl in your right hand. He takes your left hand and brings the tip of the knife to it. And he cuts your left hand. Lose 1 hit point. How many magic points do you give me?
I'll also give 7, as Zeno did.
Okay. He squeezes the blood from your hand and then crimps your hand into a fist to hold the wound closed as he moves down and continues around to Augustine. Augustine, do you resist or do you perform the ritual? All right.
Perform the ritual.
Lose 1 hit point. How many magic points do you give me?
I will give 7.
7.
Give 85.
He moves around to Dr. Long.
All right.
Lose 1 hit point. How many magic points do you give me?
14.
14.
I'll lose hit points to do it too.
All right.
Show off.
But the last time I was involved with the weird magical ritual, somebody I knew perished in the incident. So I'm going to take on as much burden as this time as I can manage.
All right. Dr. Baxter, assuming you participate in the ritual, lose 1 hit point, and how many magic points do you give me?
I was just looking and thinking whether I could gain any wisdom by looking at dream lore while this was happening to see if from another angle this creature has another aspect or something. Is that worth an endeavor, or should I just...
It is worth an endeavor. Go ahead.
38. That's good. That's just barely good for 40.
To look at this individual, for as little of him as you can see, it kind of reminds you, but maybe not 100%, but kind of reminds you of legends that you've heard about of the men of Lang.
Right. He belongs here, and this is what they're trying to destroy. I have relative faith. So I will contribute 14 magic points, which is what I currently have.
14 magic points. Wow, excellent. And then finally to Cornelius. If you participate in this ritual, lose 1 hit point and tell me, how many magic points do you give me?
Okay, well, I also reluctantly participate. The wither limb takes 8, is it? magic points?
I believe. I don't recall off the top of my head.
Leaving whatever it is to do the bare minimum for Wither, I will give the remainder, which is 6 magic points.
Okay. All right. Once, and of course, with each person, he's gestured for you to sit. Once everyone has participated, the monk takes the bowl that's been filled with your blood, and he, with holding the bowl with one hand, he reaches down and undoes his robe, and you can see that he discards his robe, and you can see a person that you can only describe as a satyr, as he has the waist and legs of a goat and a small tail of a goat, but then from the waist up, he's a bare-chested, hairy imitation of a man. He stands near the fire and takes the and he takes the knife and tosses it into the darkness. It's gone. And he takes the bowl and he begins to lift it up and begins to drink. And his mouth looks unusually wide, much wider than it should be, as this large gaping mouth is kind of encompassing the edge of the bowl as he's drinking in the blood. And as he's drinking this in, you guys see a pair of horns beginning to sprout and just push out of his forehead and begin to grow and curl into horns around his ears. And then once he's gotten most of the blood drunk down, he reaches in and skims his hand into the bowl and begins drawing glyphs onto his chest. Once he's completed drawing those glyphs, he then tosses the bowl into the darkness, and you can hear it clatter and skitter away. And then now he stands before you. The 6 of you are seated on the floor around the edges of this hexagon. And so now this goat man standing before you. By the way, everyone make a sand roll for this, please.
Is it my father? I'm also
usual. Wow, 22. I made it.
Ooh, that's a 99.
If you are successful, lose 1. If you fail, lose a D4. If you fumble, lose all 4.
Okay. Is a 90 a fumble?
No.
All right.
We are similar. I have the same legs.
All right. Once everyone is done with the sanity loss, the monk is standing and starts kind of walking around the fire, his hooved feet clip-clopping on the slab of the floor. And, he still has these blind eyes and this super wide mouth, much wider than it should be on a person. And this deep throaty voice as he even talks where he has to lift his chin, and he kind of talks up into the air above, and this baritone voice that seems to be coming from a body much larger than his own, but he kind of barks out and he says, ask your questions.
Oh, English.
I think he's speaking the tongue of our blood.
Yes.
We talked about this in the trail. Long, do you think you have the best formulation?
I believe I do. Where do we need to go to stop Nemesis, and what do we need to do once we're there to stop Nemesis?
The star falls in the maw of Lang. What was your second question?
My second question is, what do we need to do when we're there to stop it from falling?
Use the stone to kill the emissary. Saladin, give me an idea roll, please.
27 is a pass. It's a a hard pass.
It occurs to you that crucifix that you felt compelled to go and retrieve when you were leaving Garrison, Montana, that crucifix is embedded with a strange stone.
Oh, okay.
The monk continues to stalk around the fire.
Where is the maw of Lang?
The monk stops his pacing, and you entered into this box from that open doorway there, and directly opposite, the monk gestures with his hand, and you can see, almost as if a curtain is being lifted, a new archway just kind of, and you can hear stone grinding as a new archway forms, and now there's an exit on the other side of this room.
God.
When will Nemesis appear?
The monk stops pacing, and he looks, and he's just kind of looking into the air and mumbling in some other language that you don't recognize. And then when he's done kind of mumbling, he kind of leans down a little bit, tips his head, and he says, in one solar rotation. Not
one
solar.
Day.
One
day.
1
year.
No, 1 day.
Okay, 1 day.
One rotation.
Planetary.
One rotation, not a solar rotation. One rotation.
So wait. So is he telling? You're telling me that I've got to use the stone on the albino?
Emissary, but we don't. Who is the emissary?
The emissary.
The emissary is the Father Ghost. With that, you have asked 5 questions. And at that point, the monk, you can see he begins to, his head begins to kind of go into a little bit of a convulsion and a twist. And you can see the horns are beginning to recede back into his skull as he reaches down and gathers his robe and kind of bundles it about his shoulders, and he begins to move away into the darkness of the room. So he's not going for either of the doors. He's going into a darkened shadow.
I think that's it. We better go.
Yes, we don't know how long that doorway will last.
Exactly. Yes.
I hope it's warmer in the maw of Lang.
Two.
Only one way to find out.
Yes.
Into the maw of Lang we go. I'll take a handkerchief and bind my hand.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
All right. You guys begin to go out that rear exit, and you can see it leads into another pathway that's like threading its way through these jagged spires of rock. And you can see, these enormous, toothy peaks above you, kind of towering above you as you begin to, thread this little pathway that really has only one direction, as it's twisting back and forth, going through this maze of mountains.
We thanked him when we left, because that's be polite.
Give him a
He drank your blood, so
Are we fully outside, or are we in a tunnel of sorts?
You are fully outside.
All right, so we're wending our way along a path looking for what must be a maw.
Yeah.
I hope it isn't far.
Hope it's not 300 miles.
Shush. Can barely keep going.
With the jagged, toothy peaks all around you, it almost feels like you are walking through a maw. There's just these giant teeth all around you.
So I have to touch the cross to the God, the Father Ghost.
You have to use the stone to kill the Father Ghost in the maw playing, which is where the star is going to fall.
Which will stop whatever it is from happening. Maybe he's calling it. So we have to stop. We have to get there and stop him. We've got one day. All right.
Yeah, onward.
And I suppose we want to press on and find out how far we're going. And then if we realize that if it gets too dark, then we make camp. And if we find something that could be the maw, then we see if we can find the emissary.
Right.
All right. You push on until night comes over you. The winds are picking up. The temperatures are dropping. And you definitely need to make camp. Most of your gear you wouldn't be able to carry with you, especially all that camping gear. Does anyone have any kind of survival skill?
I have a base of 10%.
Base.
Rolled a 66.
I'll let anyone and everyone can try survival. See if you can help your friends.
So in 98.
You think it's best to get undressed.
Maybe sprinkle some water
soak
on
all your
yourself.
clothing in water.
I've rolled a 12 out of 10, so I'm spending 2 luck so I can be helpful here.
You could
Excellent.
spend that to an extreme and still not spend very much luck.
If you spend down to a hard, you can use that information to keep everyone safe.
Boom, bingo, doing that.
All right.
Holy. Oh no, that's my sanity. Oops, sorry, I'm moving the wrong bar.
Gain some survival wisdom in its old age.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Okay.
With Cornelius's guidance, you guys are able to find a low rock shelf that you're able to kind of tuck in there and stay relatively safe and through shared bodily heat stay warm through the night.
Wonderful.
All right.
Dr. Augustine, why don't you give me a SAN roll, please?
Oh, no.
So 79 out of 26.
So that's a failed sand roll.
Yeah.
So with a failed sand roll during the night, as you guys are by sheer survival and necessity having to stay packed in and packed together, the need to feed is kind of overwhelming you. Pick a victim.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Right.
I would probably resist the least.
I'm going to leave this to the dice. Just gonna roll a d6, and if it lands, I'm going to give Cuthbert, as he's the oldest, you're going to get 1 and 6. And then Zeno will be 2, Edith will be 3, Frederick will be 4, and Philip will be 5. So let's see. No, it would help if it didn't fall on the ground. Number 3.
That's Philip.
Edith.
Oh.
Okay, so
Sorry,
whether it was consciously or unconsciously, as Edith is awakening in the morning after just kind of shivering through the night, but trying to stay relatively warm with everyone, close in and tucked around. Edith, when you wake up in the morning and you're starting to stretch your limbs and trying to get some blood flow to all your extremities, you stretch your limbs, and as your arm stretches out, there's something almost like a lamprey of some kind stuck to your arm, and with horror you realize it is one of Augustine's tentacles that's just kind of sucking on you. Lose a hit point and give me a sand roll, please. Augustine, gain a hit point.
Yay.
Oh no, that's a failed sanity roll.
A failed sanity roll. Roll a D3.
Is a 97 a fumble?
That's a fumble. So lose all 3.
So 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So who is right next to Edith when she screams in their ear?
Everybody.
and will Augustine survive the Migo lightning gun?
Yeah, I'm probably not even aware it's doing.
No, but you had great sleep and you felt great. It was very refreshing.
I'm probably still asleep when she screams.
I jump up and point my gun at Arlo.
Yeah, samesies.
As he's snoring.
Wake up.
Yes?
Have a little
Have a good
snack.
sleep? What?
You were violating Edith's circulatory system.
You told us you could keep them in check, Augustine.
What are you?
I can keep them in check. Well, I thought I could.
Edith, how are you feeling?
Okay. It doesn't feel great.
I am sorry, Edith. I did not realize they could take control when I'm asleep. Maybe I should not sleep anymore.
We have to sleep. Maybe you sleep just a little bit farther away from us.
What?
Yeah.
Look, Nemesis is going to be here in a matter of hours, right? We deal with this later. This comes first.
Yeah. If the world wasn't going to end today, I think this encounter would be ending very differently.
True.
Arlo.
I'll probably be dead by the end of this, my dear folks. So.
Maybe you're here to replace the guy in the temple.
Yeah,
Possibly.
You're halfway there.
I am very close. I would be I would like to know what's going to happen under my arms here with all this skin shedding.
Well, no sense burning daylight. We got to find this father ghost.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Arlo goes first today.
That's fine. I've got my gun. I'm feeling
Orange
refreshed.
behind us.
Don't we want his tentacles at the rear instead of right in front of our faces?
I
want to
think
see him
anybody's
coming.
following us.
I mean, I don't want to look at his back.
Oh, well, I don't want
Better to know it's
him.
coming. Better to know it's coming.
Well, I'm awake. They won't. I'm awake. I think.
Yeah, I think we're awake. I haven't been able to dream anything good.
Baxter, could you perhaps use your scrying glass to locate where exactly in this maw the Father Ghost is waiting for us, since we know more about him? Will it be easier to use the...
Magic points are recovered while sleeping, are they not?
Yes.
1 per hour?
Yes.
How many hours did we sleep? Because otherwise I can scry not.
I would say that because it was not restful sleep, everyone can recover 5 magic points.
Excellent.
Before you waste those points, GM, when we're standing here on this path, is there any other way to go? The way it sounded, it was like the mountains are coming like this, and we're walking along. So we really can't get off. There's no way to accidentally be going the wrong way.
So far, you have not seen an alternate path.
No choice.
So
longest question, Saladin, was what was if the pale ghost had a hiding place. It might be worth foreknowledge, and given the time we have in the distance, if we understand the servitor of he who must not be named, it should be very inexpensive to cast my gaze a little bit that way.
All right.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm looking for specifically the emissary as I'm going to think about it.
Okay.
To try to translate that word specifically in case we have a misunderstanding.
Okay.
Chewing on some dried yak.
My favorite.
And so that's 3 sanity and some number of magic points unspecified, but it's probably not a lot because he's close.
Correct. Why don't you spend 3 magic points?
Okay. And also 3 Sam?
Yes.
Getting a little wobbly. All right. And the glass melts.
The shards melt and reform, and you see a view that it's just like a patch of gray and white. But then as you're looking at it, you can see that suddenly the camera lens is diving in. It's zooming in to that gray and white. And as it's zooming in and the gray and white is getting larger and it seems to take on more definition, you can see it's actually like a bird's eye view, an eagle's eye view of the mountains, as if the eagle is diving in. And as it's zooming in more and more and more, it zooms in, and there you see a great bonfire. And you can see the Father Ghost is doing some kind of ritual dance or performance of some kind near that fire.
Do I see this as well, or is this just from within?
And anybody who wants to, be behind my shoulder and look in the mirror.
Anybody who wants to look into that hand mirror that Dr. Phillip or Dr. Baxter made.
Last time it was, Yeti snarfing down recently killed animals, and it was upsetting.
Do I get a sense at all from my knowledge of withering that I could then use this as a medium to cast my ghastly magic upon that?
You're not sure. Although, yeah, you're not sure.
I don't
The
know if
oracle
now's-
said that the stone was needed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if now is the time for magical experimentation.
I just, if anything,
Let's
just
not risk
float.
it.
All right. Okay. All right.
Well, bonfire shouldn't be too hard to spot. So
Are
No,
we
he-
smelling smoke from a bonfire by any chance in this fresh air otherwise?
You don't smell anything. No, not yet.
well, let's get moving.
Yeah.
All right. New day, the new dawn. According to the monk, this is the day. And as everyone can look up into the sky, it is a heavily dense clouded sky, but you still see an area that looks even larger, as if there's a glow of red and green from right behind the clouds, like as if it's right above the clouds. And in fact, also, as you guys kind of look up and check the sky, everyone give me a spot hidden, please.
Can I use astronomy instead?
This is for something totally different. Spot hidden.
47 is just a pass.
Regular pass.
Nope. Fail.
I didn't see anything.
So who was successful? 3 successes. As you guys were looking up into the sky and kind of noticing that color change above and beyond the cloud cover, in your peripheral vision, you saw some movement, maybe some snow sliding or something like that. And so then as you glance over at what was causing that movement, to your horror, you see these gargantuan Leviathan scale spiders crawling along the tops of the jagged tips of these mountains. They're stepping from jagged mountain tip to jagged mountain tip. These gigantic spiders are covered in like a white fur with gray stripings on them. They have these huge black orbs for their eyes, and each of their long, white, furry legs is tipped in a long, sharp, gleaming black claw tip. Those who see these gargantuan spiders just kind of slowly and gracefully stepping from mountain tip to mountain tip, please give me a sand roll.
3 is a pass.
93.
93.
38. I still made it. Doesn't mean that I'm not.
It's 93 out of 42. I think I failed.
I think you failed. Yeah. Let me find them.
It's massive, not just
Massive.
large or huge, but like, good God.
Oh, man. Okay. So those who failed your sand rolls will lose a D10. Those who fumbled will lose all 10. Those who passed will lose a D3.
Now, is 93 a fumble, or is that still
Just a failure.
I lost a point.
2 for me.
okay? 9 for me. I'm freaking oh my God.
Give me an idea roll.
The three of us that didn't see it at all.
You
we still
notice
take a
you
D3?
notice your 3 companions are freaking
Okay,
out about
just making
something that
sure.
they're looking up.
Yeah, right. Just making sure.
If they're freaking out about something, I'm probably going to look up and
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
Dude.
6.
I would assume now that the other 3 see your companions and go, why are you freaking out? And then look at where they're looking. I mean, it would just be natural, right?
Don't
Someone's
look
walking down the street looking up at the top of a building. You look up and see, what are they looking at on that building, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would like Saladin and Thomas and Augustine to also give me sand rolls. Cornelius, how was your idea roll?
67 out of 60. So I failed.
That's awesome. Lose your 9 and you just kind of keep it together.
I was about to bring up that obviously Arlo now has arachnophobia from previous, but I got a 72 out of my 26 sanity, so I failed anyway. So.
All right. So roll a d10, and if you passed, only roll a d3.
Okay. 8.
Nice. Give me an idea roll.
That is not the time to get an 09, is it?
No. It is not the time to get an 09. Yeah. I mean, this has been building. Augustine is, you guys see Augustine is, he sees the spiders that are just kind of, mountain walking up there. He sees the spiders and you can see Augustine is like freaking out. He grabs his shirt and rips his shirt open and off. And then the tentacles kind of leap up and the tentacles, multiple tentacles reach up and then they kind of plaster on his face and on his chest. And then those tentacles kind of grip and peel away. And so flesh is pulled off from his face and his chest, revealing his true self underneath. And you see this horrific head with, these large black orbs for eyes and some kind of strange orifice that doubles as a mouth and nose. But this apparatus is like feathering open and as it's taking its first real deep breath, and a horrific cry bellows from Augustine. I need everyone to make a sand roll as you see the transformation of Dr. Arlo Augustine into the real.
Honey, I am cool as a cucumber today. When the world's about to end. When the world's about to end. Just
I got a 2.
I got a 32. It's still, I guess we've all been afraid of Arlo for a long time.
Yeah, we're kind of expecting him to be a monster.
So, I guess so. So if everyone who passes loses only 1, anyone who fails lose a d6.
Good question. With my, I am horrified at seeing those and I'm in shock with a 9 loss. Do I even know this is happening?
You do not. You're kind of immune to this right now. You're in stunned silence as you're staring at these gargantuan spiders. But what about the other 4 of you?
I didn't see the spiders.
Well, after everyone was freaking out, you looked up, you would have seen them.
Well, I didn't lose any. I lost a couple of points of sanity.
That's fine.
I've got my Lee Enfield, and I'm standing near Arlo. Can I just put it up to his head and pull the trigger?
Well, I would say you do have a readied weapon. I would also argue that Arlo has a readied weapon. What's y'all's? He is a readied weapon. What are y'all's dexterities?
50. Plus 50 because of the gun, but we all have
60.
ready
So I look fucking weird as shit because I've got giant goat fucking legs.
Uh-huh. You're a goat spider.
Augustine, what's your dexterity?
50.
Thomas?
60.
65.
I'm 50 also.
I'm 50.
And I'm frozen, horrified.
You're frozen, horrified. And Saladin, you said you were 60, right?
60, yeah.
All right.
Bazinga.
Always happens that way. Fantastic. Saladin had a ready weapon. Augustine is a ready weapon. Did anybody else have a readied weapon?
Yeah.
Long has a ready weapon. Thomas?
I don't think so. I think I just had it holstered, the Migo gun.
Baxter?
I feel similarly about the Migo gun, although before Arlo stopped to being Arlo, I was thinking about the Migo gun for the spiders, so I probably have it out, but it's not pointed at him or anybody else. It's just...
Okay. I will also note that the spiders are probably, close to a mile above you, and they're just kind of walking from mountaintop to mountain. It's like they're strolling, right? None of the spiders seem focused in the valley, right? They're just kind of way up there in the snow tops, right? They're just kind of walking around.
Well, I have my gun out,
and it's ahead of you, it's behind you. I mean, they're all over. All right, so Saladin has, amongst those who are actively engaged in this right now, Saladin has the best dexterity for a readied weapon. So Saladin, you can go first.
All right.
And then I need to tell Dr. Augustine something here. Hold on just for a second.
I am assuming I am no longer with my humanity.
No longer human. Yeah, you have no humanity.
Arlo is dead, and Cuthbert, I told you one thing, but I cannot control myself anymore.
And I can't either. I'm frozen and terrified. I'm not even going to know that you've left. I'll snap back.
I could murder all 4 other people.
I think the gunshots are going to snap you out of it.
Yeah, probably.
You didn't have a bout of madness. I would assume that.
No.
I should probably look at my Zoom message.
Well, yeah, he's sending you one. I'm in the instant before I pull the trigger. I've pulled the trigger. I know what the outcome is, but I'll wait for you to read your message.
The gunfire will snap me out of it.
Your last message.
Okay. All right. Saladin, I'm sorry for the pause. I needed to send a note. Saladin, you can do the voodoo that you do so well. You're also within close quarters, so make your attack roll with a bonus die.
Oh, okay. Well, I got a 20 and an 80. So I got a 20 out of 39. So I pass, but it's not a hard.
Okay. Yeah, you fire and hit, so go ahead and roll your damage.
What was that?
Field 2d6 plus 4.
Zeno, what are you doing?
3, 4, 7, 11. 11 points.
11? Okay,
Yeah.
Hold on just for a second.
Sorry, Arlo. You were a lousy.
And what weapon did you fire?
Lee Enfield.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Ciao. So he takes it center mass.
Probably kicks me back too.
Let's have Augustine and Long. Could each of you please roll a d6?
6.
1.
Long gets to act before Augustine.
All right, firing away with the Lee Enfield. Do I get a bonus dice?
Yes, you're close enough for bonus dice.
90 to a 50. I will spend the 22 points of luck.
Okay.
To pass. Uh, 11 as well.
11. Okay. Augustine, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
All right.
Keeper's going to drop the bomb that bullets don't do anything.
I will say that I'm not that cruel. But I do have some level of cruelty. Augustine, it's your turn.
I don't know how I attack, but I guess I go for Zeno, as he was the first one on my radar.
Okay, give me a brawl roll.
Okay.
And Augustine, because he's making a brawl attack, you can fight back or dodge.
Nice. Well, I'll try to shoot him again.
Well, not shooting. So you can club him or dodge.
I'll dodge.
Can I scream with these people while this is happening? Is there enough time? I'd like to scream with these people.
Yeah, you can scream.
Stop fighting amongst yourselves. It's down there.
He's a monster.
I don't think I can control.
How did you do?
I got a hard. I got 10.
So I completely failed my dodge.
Okay. It doesn't sound like you're going to try and use luck to bring that down.
It's way too much.
Okay. All right. So Augustine, you are able to successfully, get those tentacle teeth on him, and then they can tear. So why don't you roll 2d6?
Oh my God.
5.
Oh jeez. Oh God.
And
oh no.
Oh goodness.
Oh my God. Oh geez, 11 points of damage.
He kills me.
Oh.
You're not going home now. Take the cross.
Fuck.
Yeah, Augustine tears Saladin apart. Augustine, gain 1 hit point.
I'm no longer here. I'm sorry, Philip. I'm no longer here, so you're just gonna have to kill me.
We're still in round 1.
Thomas and Baxter, you guys can, you can pull and fire those weapons if you want this round. You just didn't get to shoot them early because they weren't ready.
Is it with advantage because we're so close as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Kill me, please, even though I can't save this.
Bingo. Well, that looks like a hit.
Missed both.
48. Oh, darn it. Can I fire again? Because this is the 1922 is a semi-automatic.
Go right ahead.
Zeno, you can have Crane Tea up in heaven with Arlen. Well, wherever.
They don't serve that up there.
Miss.
Wait, maybe I'm going to the other place.
Roll your damage.
All right, come on, please, something big. Ooh, 9. 9 points.
9 points.
Sorry, Arlo.
Yeah. No.
Baxter, how did you do?
What are we calling the Migo gun? Is it using it as a handgun?
No, it has special stats, and I actually remember this.
Thank you.
I remember this, David. You have the same number of points that I have in it because I remember that ringing in my head, like, oh, we have the same number of points. You also have 32 points in the Migo gun, like I do.
Perfect. Then 28 is a hit.
All right, go ahead and do your damage.
1d10 is 6.
6. Okay. That is you do take all of that, Augustine.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's not adjusted. So you fire, you aim it and bore a hole through that which used to be known as Augustine. And you can see this black ichor just kind of oozing out everywhere, and the crumpled form of Augustine falls to the ground.
I walk up and I put another bullet in his head.
Okay. Definitely a double tap for sure, for safety.
You gotta be safe. They always come back.
Arlo.
Do the mountain spiders seem to notice these shots?
I mean, and it was noisy as hell, but the mountain spiders don't do anything.
They're very far away.
Very far away.
And they're not converging necessarily. They're just sort of moving along.
Yep. They sometimes go behind a mountain tip and then come back around from the other side, and they're just moving around the mountaintops.
I'm gonna go.
Zeno, where's Zeno?
Pull the cross.
Yeah.
That stone.
Yeah. Take the cross and let's, if his backpack is, Cornelius, sit down here.
No, we can save Zeno. Look, something's moving there in his chest. I can do this.
I thought it ripped me in half.
He was torn asunder.
Okay. All right.
Push the two halves together. Maybe we can fix it.
There's a little brandy
duct
still.
tape.
Have a little brandy, Cornelius. Just a nip.
And little did they know, Zebedee was right behind.
We should have. I mean, hindsight, we should have just let that bastard get swept off the side of the mountain and be done with it.
Oh God.
Poor
Zeno.
Let's take anything useful out of Zeno's backpack. You're going to carry the cross long. You're probably the healthiest of us at this point.
Yeah.
Is there any equipment that Arlo carried? Did Arlo have a pack too?
Do you want to pick up Arlo's face and see if you can wear it and confuse them?
Not particularly. I was just talking about his backpack. Maybe there's something in it.
My Lee Enfield should be there somewhere.
Sure.
My custom carved Lee Enfield.
Could I do a deadite luck roll to see if I wrote down the gate spell to take us back home?
Absolutely.
All right.
I actually kind of know it. I just am terrified.
You know what happens when you cast that spell.
Nothing could possibly go wrong again.
Maybe there's something in Zeno's notes that you missed.
Oh, it's a T, not an H.
It's left. It's counterclockwise.
You leave us notes, Zeno?
Actually, well, I'd love to bend the rules, but I rolled a 69 and my luck is 57 right now, so I didn't write them down. Damn it.
Well, in all your delvings into the magical mysteries that actually are our reality and the sacrifice on your way to save the world, I think that constitutes giving you an honorary doctorate. You will be missed, Dr. Zeno Saladin.
Well, wait, my brother's going to show up in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're Zebedee. Your brother because your brother broke out Zebedee from where he was being held captive.
And they tracked us across the Himalayan wastes.
We'll be here any minute now.
All right. I guess there's no time to waste.
All
right.
Ghost.
So as you guys quickly gather any possessions that you think you need, mourning for the loss of your companions, you keep pushing on, following this trail, and in a couple of hours, you begin to smell the smell of smoke. And as you keep pushing on, the trail kind of comes up, and you can see that there's a small valley ahead of you. So you're kind of coming in at a higher position. And as you get to the edge and you look into this small little circular valley below you, you see a large bonfire. You can see that which you've known as Father Ghost is doing something ritualistic down there, some kind of performance to do something. You can see the sky is now, the gray clouds are all red, and you're starting to see thin punches of these small, relatively small, probably the size of a football, green rocks are punching through the clouds, and it's only like, one or two or three that so far, but these small green rocks are punching through the clouds and coming down and smashing, not in this general vicinity, but smashing within the mountains nearby. Boom, boom. You can hear them falling. And down there in that circular valley where you can see, the Father Ghost, doing his ritual, you can see one of the rock walls of a mountain right there near him has an archway, like there's some sort of entrance or tunnel into a mountain that's right there next to him. And nearby, you can see people that they look like they could be Sherpas of some kind or whatever, but they seem to be bound and tied up. And there's a few of these Sherpas down there that possibly are going to be, I don't know. It seems like they might be sacrificed or something for whatever this ritual is. But that's where we're gonna pause tonight's episode, as you come in and you're just kind of looking down into that valley and you can see what's going on down there.
Gracious.
Where are we? Let's see. Our players included Josh Harwood, Morgan Llewellyn, Holly Buteau, Stuart Lively, David Gasway, and myself, with John Hook as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. There's a link below. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows, free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure to the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.